IELTS reading module. Well, today I'll be taking up the reading section of IELTS examination. Hi, I'm Navneet Chandra from Just Evaluate, and let's begin. Okay, so I'll just share my screen with you. I hope you all can see my screen. Now, the IELTS reading module, firstly, what's the reason for this test? What's the reason for the reading section or the comprehension part? Why is it required? It is required because the examiner wants to see that all the students and people who want to settle abroad, whether they can handle themselves there, whether they can survive in the English speaking environment or not. So that is the main reason. So comprehension passages will be given and some questions based on those passages will be given. You need to read the comprehension. There's a time limit and answer the question related to these. There are different types of questions to assess their English language skills. Now, there is some difference between the general training reading section and the academic reading section. So, what is it? Firstly, for general training, there will be about 4 to 5 passages. Sections will be the same for both, that is 3 sections each. But in general training, in 2 sections, there will be 2 passages each. And in the last section, there'll be one long passage. Whereas in the academic reading, there will be 3 large passages, which will be slightly tougher than the general training program. So let's begin with the IELTS General Training Reading Exam pattern. Now, what does it involve? It has 3 sections. Different types of comprehension passages are there. Section 1 deals with social survival skills, basically dealing with society, what all is required to survive in a social environment. Then in section 2, workplace survival skills like some job descriptions, there'll be some policies. So a passage will be on that, and you have to solve the questions based on this. So the third section is the lengthiest and will have a difficult passage. Therefore, the time should also be divided accordingly, which I'll be discussing later. Now, next is it will have about 4 to 5 passages, a total of about 2,500 words. You will be given 1 hour in which you have to answer 40 questions, so you have to be very quick. And 1 mark will be accorded for each correct question. There's no negative marking here. Okay, now we come to IELTS reading module academic. This is for students aspiring to go abroad and study. So again, 3 sections, approximately 2,500 words, 3 long passages. Topics can be science related or some research or business or environment, medicine, health, conservation, and many more. Time, again the same time, 60 minutes, questions 40, and 1 mark for each correct answer. So this is the format for the 2 modules. Now, what are the skills required to excel in IELTS reading? Firstly, let's see the challenges that we face. There are 3 sections in which you have to read 2,500 words, answer 40 questions, and how much is the time given to you? Just 60 minutes or 1 hour. So you have to be very quick, and on top of that, you have to be accurate. Otherwise, you'll lose marks. So, how do you tackle these challenges? There are 2 basic strategies. One is language based skills, and second is paper solving strategy. Now, to acquire these 2 skills, what do? Language based skills is that is improve your language, increase your vocabulary, know the synonyms and the antonyms of certain words. Then paper solving strategy, that is how should you go about it when you have just 1 hour. So, to acquire these skills, you have to familiarize with the common IELTS topics and question times and different question types. Practice active reading. That is, make it a habit. You can start small. If you don't read at all, you can start small. You can start with a small passage. Then every day, increase the length. Till finally, you start reading a newspaper or a magazine or a book. You don't need to finish the entire book in a day. Take a week or so, but develop this habit of reading. Once you get into this habit, you will automatically improve. Next is time your reading. When you read, like supposing you've read one passage in 10 minutes today, tomorrow make it to 8 minutes. Then the next 7 minutes, then 6. So, like this, keep on decreasing the time. That is how your speed will increase, but you have to do it with understanding. So, see how much time do you require to improve your timing, and timing is very important here. You should just Google some articles from abroad, like about Canada, you should read about Australia, England, USA, read more about foreign countries because you will get articles from foreign countries only. There will be something about America, something about England, something about Australia. So, better to get familiarized with such topics. Now, when your reading skills improve, what will happen? It will lead to an increase in your knowledge. It will give you a wider perspective that, okay, I didn't know about this, now I know about it. Then you will be able to form an opinion whether you like it or you don't like it, or you agree with a certain aspect or you don't. Then your formation of sentences will improve, your vocabulary will improve, your grammar will improve, and also it will be a great help in your writing and speaking skills if your reading improves. Now let's dive into the IELTS reading strategy. That is, once you get your paper, what should you do? When if it's a computer-based exam or it's a paper-based exam, the questions are the same. But how do you divide your time? How should you go about it? What is the strategy? So now you remember that you only have 60 minutes, three sections, and there are about 2,500 words approximately that you have to read. So the first section is the most easiest. Therefore, you should try and give it only 15 minutes. Second section, 20 minutes. Third section, since it's the lengthiest and the most difficult, 25 minutes. Now, for different types of questions, different strategies are required. So, first one is annotation. So, what is meant by annotation? Annotation means highlighting important keywords in the passage. Now, these can be done through different means. How can you do it to make it easier for you and which you can get at a quick glance? The steps to annotate. First is read the questions, keep the keywords in your mind, come back to the passage, identify the keywords like numbers, nouns, that is particular names, or some scientific invention, or some important information that is given there. So, what do you need to do? If there are numbers, just put a circle around the numbers. The numbers can be in digits or in words. Like if it's number 6, it can be written as 6 as a number or SIX in words. So just put a circle around those. Bracket the nouns or names. Important names should be put in brackets. And underline the important information. Whatever information you find important, just underline it. So I'll explain it with a few examples here. Now the questions are asked on basically date or number, weight, some figures. So just circle it. For example, 15th, 6th century, all these are given. Just put a circle around. Then cities, scientific words, names, terms. So basically nouns. Put a bracket around it. So then there's a differentiation. So you know that, okay, this is a number, this is a name. And then some trends, causes, reasons, some important stuff that can be underlined. Like, for example, scientists discovered a new planet. So that's important information, just highlight it by underlining it. Okay, so hope you've understood. Annotation, circle the numbers, bracket the names, and underline the key information. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, there's another strategy which is called skimming and scanning. That is, you don't read the entire passage. Since you have very limited time, just go through the passage very quickly, take very less time to do so, identify the main ideas, headings, get the gist of it, then read the questions first, come back to the passage, find the keywords, and just ignore the minor details. Look for synonyms and related words and locate the relevant information. This works very well if you have a good knowledge of English and you can scan and skim the minor details. So, this is very effective there as time is very limited. And you have to answer 40 questions in 60 minutes. So, that is very, very challenging. So, just go through this again and again and keep these strategies in mind and how you need to divide the time, like I've mentioned earlier also. This is very important. First passage 15 minutes, second 20, and third 25. So keep all these points in your mind and you will do very well in your exam. Now I'll post my next video on the different types of questions that come in the exam, like true and false. Then there's matching, sentence completion, sentence endings. There are many more. And different strategies for different question types work. So I'll be discussing all those in my next video. Okay then, see you soon.